This is Susan Milner, also known as McCartney Green, and we are on book number 14, Such a Time as This, in Jesus' Name, chapter 25. It is January 28th. It is 2 p.m. Tuesday afternoon, Ameritech Training Facility, Lake Ridge Canyon, California. Gabe was struggling. He'd completed the 2-mile run near the front of the pack. He made 18 pull-ups, which was phenomenal. But on the 40-foot rope climb, he somehow fell off of the rope and had to start again. And after that, dizzy and nauseated, he slowed. Still, he was determined to complete today's course. Now he faced 14 feet of a 4-inch wide balance beam. Taking a deep breath, he tried to stop the dizziness and started across, but 6 feet in, he simply stepped off. Sighing, he went back to the start. Agent Blade came up beside him. "What's going on, Tanner?" Gabe shook his head. "I'm dizzy. I think I might have hit my head when I fell off that rope." "Well, if you're injured, you need to go in. I don't want to give up. Even if I were injured on a mission, I'd have to complete it, right? I'd have to get back to safety with my charge, right?" "Well, yep, you are absolutely right." "So do it, Tanner. It's life or death for you or your charge. Concentrate. Go slowly. You can do this." Gabe nodded and started again. He stopped and breathed about 4 feet down, got his bearings, and started again. It took much longer, but he finally made it to the end. Blade, or the knife, as Gabe called him, ran along beside him to the next obstacle, the cargo net. They looked up as they approached. "Are you going to make this?" Blade asked. Gabe couldn't answer as he walked over to the side and threw up. He wiped his mouth on his sleeve. He walked back and he nodded his head. "I'm going to make it." He began his climb. "Well, Tanner, I'm going to stay right behind you to make sure you don't fall, because if you fall on this one, you'll break your neck. Let's go." Gabe climbed, but had to stop several times to get his bearings. Once down, they ran fast, jumping 3 pits, and after the 3rd pit, they lifted a 100-pound bag over their shoulder and hurried across the finish line. They were the last ones in out of all 3 teams, and the others stood there cheering them on, even the black and blue teams. Senior Agent Fox, the course leader for the day, raised his eyebrows at the last 2 agents to cross the line. "Did you 2 go the scenic route?" "Sorry, sir," Agent Blade said immediately. We had a little trouble, but we overcame." "We? Or you, Agent Tanner?" Breathing hard, Gabe nodded. "Yes, sir. Sorry, it was me. And Agent Blade stayed with me to make sure I accomplished the goal." "And why did you do that, Agent Blade?" "Because he's part of my team, sir, and he's been really helpful to all of us. I thought it was time to repay the kindness." "I see. So that means you're willing to accept the consequences of being last ones in?" Blade frowned and nodded. "Yes, sir." Senior Agent Fox nodded. "Well, drop. Give me 40. Blade and Gabe immediately got down together. "Not you, Tanner." Gabe didn't argue, but just shakily got to his feet and counted with everyone else. When Blaine finished, Senior Agent Fox continued. "Tanner, how do you think I knew it was you having the trouble?" Gabe thought a few seconds because his mind was all over the place. "Oh, sir, probably because I'm sure there are cameras all over the course that you can access on your watch." "And why are you sure of that?" Gabe shrugged. I mean, this is Ameritech." All the agents standing around nodded. "Attention," Fox commanded. All 3 teams came to attention. "Tell me, Tanner, what happened?" Gabe drew a deep breath. "I'm not sure, but somehow I lost my grip on the rope halfway up. I fell. I started again and made it. But after that, I was a little dizzy and having trouble on the beam." "Do you think that maybe you needed to come in for medical attention?" Gabe gave a very slight smile. It crossed my mind." The others murmured, evoking a sharp look from Agent Fox. "So why didn't you, Agent Tanner? Did you feel like it would make you look bad to come in? Did you feel like it would make you look good to finish? Did you think about the fact that Agent Blade would have to pay for stopping to help you?" "Well, to be honest, sir, I wasn't thinking very clearly. Mostly just trying to not throw up, and I failed at that." "I see." "Senior Agent Fox," Agent Blade said. "Yes, Blade, you have something to add?" "Yes, sir." "Well, by all means, let's hear it." Agent Tanner, wasn't trying to look good. I asked him why he didn't go in and get medical attention, and he said if he were out in the field and was injured and trying to get his charge to safety, he'd have to learn how to do that under duress, and he felt like he should give it his all. I actually agreed with his reasoning, and so I stayed nearby in case he needed help completing his mission. All the men standing around smiled and nodded. Is that true, Tanner? Gabe sighed. Yes, sir, he said, offering a soft moan and swallowing hard as another wave of nausea hit. You two get in line with your team. Yes, sir, they said in unison and moved to stand in line. Fox moved back so he could see all three teams. There is a huge lesson to be learned here. Actually, there are several lessons to be learned. First, and most obvious, you don't leave a team member behind. So good on you, Agent Blade. Second, you push through if at all possible, because when you're out in the field, others' lives depend on you. But the big one here is not so obvious, but it's the most important. Doing the right thing doesn't always pay back in kind. Not in this earth life, he added with a smile. Treasures in heaven, certainly. Sometimes, many times, doing the right thing makes our lives harder. Jesus told his disciples that following him and teaching the truth and bringing light to others will more than likely lead to pain, anguish, and even death. But even that is not the lesson that I want to get across. What I want to say is, when life gets harder because you did the right thing, accept the consequences. Don't let it get you down or worse, make you bitter. Accept that sometimes that's the way this fallen world works. There will be a time and place when that is not so. But for now, you pick up your own cross and you bear it without complaint. Does this make sense to you? Yes, sir, they all answered. At that moment, Gabe dropped to his knees. Tanner? In a daze, Gabe blinked up at him. Oh, I'm not feeling too well, sir. Agent Blade carried Tanner to the Jeep. Yes, sir, he said and did as asked. The rest of you will run back to the dorms, shower, dress, and report for your evening meal. New scene is January 28th, 2 p.m., Tuesday afternoon, at the Keno Estate, Crystal Cove, California. Eric Keno looked at the man over who emerged from the limo that Eric had sent to pick him up from the airport. The man was only 2 years older than Eric, the second youngest of the group. His face was fairly smooth, but his longish hair was totally white. He reminded Eric of many depictions of Santa Claus. He wore blue jeans with a collared shirt and a thick pullover sweater, which Eric was sure the man regretted wearing since the current temperature was 64 degrees. Keeping with the Santa Claus theme, the man's smile made his eyes twinkle. Eric came down the steps and shook his hand. Enrique, it is such a pleasure to finally meet you. You as well, Grandmaster Keno. You as well. I'm not sure I can contain my excitement. Well, you aren't the only one. As I told you on the phone yesterday, we have a house full of guests who are being very patient in waiting for your arrival. You will make number 10 of the 12 of us. Well, I'm elated that I'm finally here and about to meet them. He pulled at his collar. I believe I didn't realize how warm it is here. Eric laughed. Many make the same mistake. Though in January, it does cool down at night to the mid-40s. Enrique laughed. Oh, mid-40s, is it? That's 20 degrees higher than our daytime temperature in January in Oslo. Eric smiled and then nodded at the driver who was unloading luggage. Agent Eddie, thank you so much. Will you take that upstairs and just leave it in the hall next to the railing? Yes, sir. Let me help with that, Enrique said. No, sir, I have it with ease. If I let you help, the other agents will make fun of me for sure. Eric chuckled. Come in, Enrique. Let me introduce you to everyone. I'm not sure what time of day it is to you. Are you hungry or tired? Well, for me, it's 11 p.m., but I'm too excited to meet everyone, so I won't be able to sleep, but maybe a little refreshment will be helpful. Very well, Eric said with a nod. They entered the home, and Enrique smiled. Oh, my. It's exactly the way I pictured it from your description in your book. It's lovely, just lovely. Enrique, I must say your English is perfect. There's barely even a trace of an accent. Enrique chuckled. Well, I am an English teacher, so that speaks well of my profession. Enrique glanced up to the balcony and saw his luggage leaning there against the railing, and then he saw a lovely woman descending the stairs, and he smiled kindly. Hello, you must be Shelley Keno? Eric smiled. No, This is my son-in-law's mother who is visiting and getting to know her new grandson. Anna Wallace, may I introduce to you Henrik Johansson. He's a high school English teacher from Oslo, Norway. Henrik, this is Anna Wallace. Anna held out her hand, and Henrik took it and placed his other hand on top. Oh, it's a pleasure to meet you, Mrs. Wallace, he said. Oh, please call me Anna. But what would your husband say about that? My husband, she said with a smile. I'm not married. Oh, I see. Well, then, it's very nice to meet you, Anna. You as well, she said brightly. Come in here and meet everyone, Eric directed, turning Henrik to the left and leading him into the giant living room. The room contained only men, 8 men to be exact, and they all stood with huge smiles as Eric and Henrik came into the room. Each man stepped forward and introduced himself. The handshakes were filled with strength and love, the smiles broad and filled with genuine interest, and the excitement was palpable. Henrik shook his head as he stood back after the last one. Well, I cannot tell you how this feels. I've so looked forward to this moment. Every single one of you are exactly how I imagined you to be. My heart is full, so full. I'm pretty sure we all feel the same way, Eric said as the others nodded. He smiled. Everyone have a seat, relax. Henrik, pull that sweater over your head and hand it to me, and then let's all have a chat. As they all got comfortable, Shelley, Danny, Hazel, and Anna came in carrying trays of snacks, small finger sandwiches, fruit cups, mixed nuts, a veggie tray with dip, grapes, cheese, and chunks of ham on toothpicks. Jeffy carried in a tray of drinks, iced juices, teas, and water. The women were introduced to Henrik, all except Anna, who had already met him. They each welcomed him into the fold. Henrik sat back and sighed. I don't think I could be any happier. We understand how you feel, Billy said, but don't get too comfortable. We're already working on your first mission. So I hear. Is there more to tell me since the last I spoke to you, Eric? Well, yes. As speculated, we have learned that God would like us to travel to Georgia to take care of this problem. We have also learned that once we get there, we will be able to meet with the 12th man. Oh, Henrik said, you found him. No, we don't know who he is. But my daughter had the Lord speak to her as we discussed it, and she said the 12th man will be provided. She also said we should make arrangements as soon as possible. And I realize that you just arrived and probably have no desire to get right back on a plane and go on an adventure for the Lord. Are you jesting? Let's go. I'm ready to fight any battle God asks. It must be important to bring us all together. True, it must be important, Seth began, though we may not know how important until much later. He shrugged. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but that's just what came into my head. Don't be sorry, Eric said, and he nodded and drew a breath. Okay, I think we need to establish a few guidelines. I know that we are all new acquaintances, and so we are on our very best behavior, and we are all being very careful to not step on anyone's toes or walk on egos. With myself being the youngest, I feel the weight of that. But I'd like to suggest that in our interactions, we let go of any pride or ego, and we understand that each of us has been called, chosen, for whatever reason, and each person's opinion is important. What each of you have pop into your heads is important. He stopped and smiled. So speak up. There is no judgment. There will be no ego or hurt feelings. No one is less. No one is more. We are all here to serve. And I have a huge amount of respect and love for each and every one of you, and I am beside myself with joy to have you all here together in my home. So speak freely, pray freely, laugh freely, please. Well said, Eric, Lev said softly, and I feel prompted to ask Henrik a question. He smiled at Henrik. Sir, did the Lord give you, by any chance, any messages to give us upon your arrival? Henrik laughed. Oh, wow. God is so good. I love when he plays little games with us. Even as I speak, I feel like Jesus is smiling and laughing and nodding his head in merriment. All the men turned quietly and waited for Henrik to explain. The women, too, turned and waited. Henrik nodded. This morning, in the wee hours before I awoke for my trip here, I had a dream. In the dream, I was sitting on a train, and a man with a clipboard approached. He looked like the one you would see, collect a ticket, a blue jacket, a blue tie, light blue shirt, and a little blue hat. The conductor, I suppose. He smiled at me and checked whatever was written on the clipboard. He said, "Sir, I will give you the information, but you are not to disclose it until someone specifically asks you if the Lord has given you a message." Then he turned his clipboard around so that I could read it. It said, "When the babe cries, the prophetess will speak. An important journey is at hand. Take heed. Make haste. Little children will confirm." He stopped and shrugged. I can still see the words clearly in my head, so I have no idea what that means other than I know that we are going on a journey to help rid the world of darkness. Eric glanced at Jeffy, who seemed dazed or bewildered, and she offered her father a slight smile and a shrug. "Well then," Eric said, "that is quite cryptic. I'm very interested to see how this goes and what amazing things we're about to learn." At that moment, Elijah's monitor sounded, and with a loud cry, Jeffy immediately stood. "Oh, sorry, that's Eli." She started out of the room, but then stopped and turned. Lives are at stake, but much more than that. This will be a trial run. Much force is needed. All must travel. The power of 3 generations, which is the 3 Erics. The power of friendship, which is the Lee brothers, Mr. Stewart, Mr. Apple, and Jeff Davis. The power of brotherhood, which is Ricky, Mark, Joey. And then JoJo, Logan, young Eric, and Gabe. Light is stronger than darkness. Stay faithful and do not doubt. She stopped and drew a deep breath. I hope I didn't misspeak. I have to see about Eli. Turning quickly, she ran up the 3 steps that led to the dining room, headed left to the back stairs, and trotted up to her room. Those in the living room sat stunned, except for Eric and Shelley. Enrique's eyes opened wide. "So, your daughter is a prophetess?" Eric smiled. "Well, she would never call herself that. She's very close to God, and she hears from him often and has never been wrong in what she says will happen or when she feels there's a disturbance in the force. She plays it down. But when Jeffy speaks, we all take heed." Miguel smiled. "Oh, this just keeps getting better and better." The rest of the men laughed and agreed. As Jeffy headed up the back stairs, Melody and the 5 Kino children came down the front stairs, freshly energized from their naps. Whenever their father was home, when they woke from their naps, they would always run to him immediately, and today was no exception. Melody wasn't sure if she should stop them since there was company, but she really had no choice because they were fast. The adults all looked up as the 5 rambunctious children ran into the living room, calling, "Daddy, Daddy!" Eric and Shelley immediately stood. Instead of stopping the ruckus, Eric knelt down and held his arms open wide. They all ran into them, some more victorious because they got there first and were the closest to him. "Hello, little ones," he said calmly. "Did you actually sleep, or did you give Melody a hard time?" We slept, they all answered. "And Melody did too," Angelina said with glee. Shelley looked up at Melody, whose face turned pink, and Melody shrugged. I read them 2 stories, I sang them a song, and I guess somewhere in there I fell asleep. I'm sorry." "There's no need to apologize," Shelley said. "These kiddos could wear anybody out. I just appreciate you so much, especially so that I've been able to spend some time with our guests." I'm sorry for the noise. The weekly garbage truck has arrived, and he's out in front of my house. Let's see. Shall I wait? Maybe that'll be it. Okay. Especially so that I've been able to spend some time with our guests. And I appreciate that too, Eric said as he rose. "Okay, children, I want you to introduce yourselves to our new guest that just arrived. His name is Mr. Johansson. Can you say that?" They tried to repeat it, and Eric nodded. "Well, that's a start. We'll work on it." Enrique smiled. "Well, the little ones on the street where I live call me Mr. Henry. That might be easier." Eric nodded. "Is that easier, kiddos? Try saying Mr. Henry." "Mr. Henry," they all said loudly. Eric nodded. "Very well. You may call him that for now, but we will work on it, okay? Do you remember how to introduce yourselves?" "Yes, sir," they said brightly. Eric nodded and waited as they lined up in front of Enrique. Go, Angel, Nate whispered loudly. I am. I was getting wetty, she smiled brightly. They really are leaving now. Okay. She smiled brightly. Hi, my name is Angelina Kino, but some people call me Angel. And I am Manny Kino. Hello, I am Noah Kino. Hi, I'm Abraham Kino. My name is Nathaniel Kino, but they call me Nate. Abraham frowned. Oh, I forgot to say they call me Abe. Enrique laughed and leaned forward and shook each hand. So, tell me, who's the eldest? Manny smiled. I am. Lovely, and who's next? I am, Noah said. And then me, Angelina said. And then me, Abe said. I'm the youngest, Nate finally said. So when you introduced yourselves, you almost went in order of your age, oldest to youngest, except Angelina went first. They all nodded, and Eric and Shelley smiled. Why? Enrique asked, his eyes twinkling and very much looking forward to the answer. Nate, Eric said, can you tell Mr. Henry why Angelina went first? Nate nodded. Yes, sir. Angel went first because she's a girl, she's our sister, and we have to take care of the girls because we love them and protect them, and we hold open doors for them, and we let them go first to show them that we care about them. But they have to be careful to not get a attitude because they're supposed to be kind and sweet and loving like Mommy is, and they are supposed to have gratitude. He stopped and looked at his father, who nodded his head. Yeah, gratitude. For us guys, taking care of them, he finished. They all looked at Nate with wide eyes. You are a very smart young man, aren't you? Enrique asked. Eric smiled. Nate, it seems, is much like our Jeffy in his IQ, he explained. Oh, well, that is exciting. And Nate, that was a lovely explanation of why we take care of the girls. Well done. Nate grinned. Mommy, can we have our snack? Abe asked as he eyed the trays of goodies. Wait, Noah said. We have to tell them stuff. Oh, yeah, Abe said. What do you have to tell us? Eric asked. Nate smiled. You go first, Abe. Abe nodded. We will take care of all the girls when you go bye-bye. And Noah said, you have to hurry, 'cause Iris is waiting. Iris? Shelley asked. The boys nodded. Eric looked around the room at the others. And these two guys seem to be like Jeffy in her psychic connections, he explained. Hold on, let me fix that typo. Children will confirm, Enrique said. That's what the Lord meant. Amazing. This is just simply amazing. The others in the room all nodded. They all felt a sudden pull. Jesus telling them to get their game faces on. All of this has large repercussions. It wasn't going to be easy, and they needed to be in business mode. As always, there was a possibility of failure, but that would cost lives of loved ones, and they had to be at their best on the battlefield. Mission accepted. They all turned as the front door opened and Logan came in, his guitar in hand, a smile on his face. Logan, Melody exclaimed. He smiled. Hey, baby. Surprise. He hugged her and gave her a quick kiss and then headed into the living room. Hey, everyone. This is one of my grandsons, Eric said quickly to Sakchai, Andrew, and Enrique. Logan, nice to see you, son. Nice to see you, Granddad, he said brightly, and all of you. He swept his gaze around the room. Granddad, the rest of us are also coming over, and I brought my guitar because I got the feeling that I needed to take you all to church in a musical way. Eric and the others smiled. Logan, I'm proud of you. You, son, are in tune in so many ways. And Logan grinned. New scene. It is January 28th, Tuesday evening, en route to the Kino estate. Jason glanced over at his wife as he drove to the Kino estate. How you doing, Angel Face? Angel smiled. I love when you call me that. He chuckled. I know. That's why I do it. She smiled. Jason. Life is strange, isn't it? We've come a long way since the day I met you at Shelley's first tournament. He nodded. I should say so, since you wouldn't give me the time of day at that point. You had your eyes on Grandmaster Kino. She shrugged. Well, I mean, he was like a shining light. It was hard to see anyone else, but when I got close enough, I could see you standing there beside him. She smiled. And you were so kind to me and so patient with me, even when I was acting a fool and pretty much ignored you. Jason nodded. Well, sweet angel, I knew from the moment I met you that you were the one. I believed God led me to you, and so, if he did that, then I was willing to be patient and wait for you to see me. Though I never told anyone that I felt that way, except my brother. Angel smiled. And who knew you would be such a perfect man? Well, I mean, the perfect man for me. So strong, so confident. You knew exactly who you were. Your relationship with God was strong. You had big ideas and big goals, and you knew just where you wanted to go with your security business. Mostly, though, you seemed to understand my psyche and my emotional trials and my needs. What I understood was that you were all alone in the world except for a few superficial friends. You were lost, but God knew exactly where you were and sent me to you. Angel nodded and looked over at her husband as he drove. God sent you to me. Oh, how I love you, Jason Lee. He smiled. I love you, my angel face. You have made my life so wonderful and so happy. She sighed, and he frowned. If you could have anything in the world, Angel, anything at all, what would you ask for? She shrugged. Well, I already have so much. Oh, that's nice that you're grateful for what you already have. But I mean, if there was something else, anything, what would you want? She thought for a minute. Well, she said softly, I was recently thinking how much I wish we'd had another child. I am so sorry, Jason, that I couldn't give you more children. He smiled. Well, babe, it wasn't for lack of trying, he said, trying to lighten her mood. And she giggled, and he got serious. Angel, would you like to adopt a child? She looked at him, her eyes wide. Would you? Have you been thinking along those lines? It crossed my mind a few times. Why haven't you brought it up? I just did. I mean, how long have you been thinking about adopting a child? Off and on for a few years, but not really seriously until recently. Why now? She asked. Well, I heard what you said last night to Shelley. It made me wonder if you really wanted another child. She looked closely at him. Do you? I asked you first. She frowned. Well, honestly, I would love to have another child, but I wouldn't want to have one if you were only doing it for my sake. He smiled. What if I told you that I would be ecstatic to have another child to raise, but only if you really and truly wanted to, and not because you think I want to? She felt tears well up in her eyes and blinked them back. Jason, don't tease me. Would you really want to adopt a child? He smiled. I really would. But do you have time to be a father again? He shrugged. I have the company to where it practically runs itself, so I have more time now than I did when Kimmy was little. The question is, do you have enough time to take care of another child? Well, I'll make time. I'll hire another assistant director. I'll reorganize the foundation. I'll do whatever it takes. Jason smiled. So, this is real? Really? I mean, really, Angel, are we seriously going to do this? She couldn't hold back the smile or the tears. Oh, Jason, are we really going to do this? Yes, let's do this. Jason nodded. Okay, well, let's take a little time and pray about it and see if this is God's will, though I have a feeling it was him who put the idea in our heads. Let's let it simmer for a while and we can get the ball rolling. Angel sniffed. I didn't think I could be happier, and yet here it is. Jason smiled. His thoughts turned to him having to go to Georgia for a few days. Well, I'm happy that you're happy. So, Angel, let me ask, what are your thoughts about this little trip I need to take to Georgia? She sighed. Well, I think it's scary. Evil is real. It takes lives. You and I know that firsthand. And Jeffy said the power of friendship and named you and Justin personally, and that tells me that God wants you to go. That tells me that your friendship with Eric is beautiful and powerful in the eyes of the Lord, and that power must be used for whatever purpose in Georgia. I don't really understand what exactly you can do, but I guess I need to let go of trying to understand everything. Jason nodded. That's right. Let go and trust God. He wouldn't have me go there for no reason. There must be something he needs of me, and since Jeffy said the power of friendship, I think that means that Justin and I need to support Eric in whatever he's called to do. Angel nodded. I just wish I knew what all was happening because, Lord have mercy, it's hard to not know what the man I love is getting himself into. I'm fixing to go crazy. He smiled at her southern idioms. Well, first, I didn't get myself into it. I'm just being obedient. Second, I'll try to keep you informed. So take a deep breath, Angel, and have faith, baby, and pray that it will be okay. New scene, it is January 29th, 7:30 a.m., Wednesday morning. We're at the Tanner home, Pine Forest, Georgia. Keegan headed upstairs to find his wife. She was sitting on the bed, changing Gentian's diaper and saying she was going to get her tummy. Gentian was smiling and cooing. Isaiah lay on his tummy near Gentian's head, his weight supported on his arms as he looked on. And Keegan smiled as he watched Lizzie play with the babies. What a beautiful sight. Both babies had a head full of hair. Gentian's was dark like Iris's and Gabe's, but surprisingly, Isaiah's was blonde. The babies were strong, unvaccinated, unpoisoned, and being raised with Jeffy's protocols. They were alert and bright and almost always happy. Lisa and Chaz Stewart were also raising their twins with Jeffy's protocols, and they too were so much more alert and healthy than most children their age. Both families used a doctor who was totally on board with Dr. Keno Wallace. Those doctors were becoming more and more common, and it was a great thing to see. Keegan moved forward and leaned over Lizzie's shoulder. Well, hello there, kiddos, he said softly, and chuckled as both babies' faces lit up, and they began to smile and become excited at the appearance of their father. Lizzie smiled. They sure love their daddy. Keegan smiled. Their daddy sure loves them. He glanced at his wife. And he sure loves their mommy. Lizzie sighed contentedly. So I just came up to check on you. Sorry. Gentian was a little fussy this morning, so I was taking some extra time with her. Well, it's okay. The girls have eaten breakfast. Rose and Daisy have left for the center. Lily came down and ate and said she's feeling fine and she wanted to help Violet do the dishes. And I peeked in on our little Iris when I came up here and she's still sleeping. Lizzie nodded. Oh, I need to go get her up. She was coughing again last night. I hope she isn't relapsing. I mean, she never really got all the way back to her Energizer Bunny self. Keegan nodded. Lizzie looked up at him. Keegan, have you heard anything else from Gabe this morning? He smiled because he knew she'd ask. Not yet, honey. It's only 4-something in the morning there, but I'm sure he's okay. They said he hit his head and was concussed. He vomited one time. They've assigned him to light duty until next Monday. Doc says he's going to be fine. Did Jeffy see to him? No, they didn't see any need to call her in on it. Well, usually they don't have to call her in. She usually calls him. Keegan nodded. Yes, that's true. But she's pretty busy right now. Cam's mother came to visit and meet Eli, and she's been tied up with that, and also with members of the 12 arriving at the Kenos. I'm sure if Gabe was bad off, she would be all over it. Lizzie sighed. And so, the 12, they're all coming here this coming weekend to see if they can help with this problem, right? Whatever's trying to hurt Lily, and whatever's haunting Iris, they're going to make it stop, right? Keegan's lips pressed tightly together because he was feeling very unworthy that he hasn't been able to protect his daughters. He finally brought himself back to the question and nodded. Well, 10 are coming, and Thomas is here. That makes 11. And yesterday, Jeffy did her thing and gave a message from the Lord. She said the 12th man will be provided. She also said that others were being called to join us. Gabe and his brothers, and Gabe's coming home? Why didn't you tell me? Well, I wasn't sure if he was going to be allowed off training, but since he was injured, Jason texted me last night and let me know that he's coming home this weekend. He'll be here Friday evening. Oh, wow, that is going to make Iris so happy. Keegan nodded. Well, Lizzie began as she rose from dressing Gentian. Are you going to be up here for a few minutes? I can be. Why? Will you watch the babies a few minutes while I go get Iris up and tell her about Gabe? He smiled. Yes, of course. He knelt down beside the bed and spoke to the babies. Hey, kiddos, your mom gets to tell Iris, so I get to tell you that your big brother is coming home. He's going to be so happy to see you. Are you going to be happy to see him? The babies gurgled and cooed, and Keegan chuckled. I'll take that as a yes. Smiling, Lizzie headed for Iris's room. Iris was still sleeping. Lizzie sat down on the side of the bed. Hey, sweet girl, are you going to wake up sometime, or are you just going to sleep all day? Iris groaned a little and stretched out her arms and legs like she always did when she was waking. She opened her eyes and smiled at her mom and closed her eyes and went back to sleep. Lizzie smiled. Iris, my little sleepyhead, let's get up and get dressed and go downstairs and have some yummy breakfast, okay? Iris sighed and opened her eyes. Lizzie scooped her up and pulled her into her lap. Good morning, baby girl. Morning, Iris mumbled. Lizzie smoothed her hair back out of her face and frowned and set Iris down on the bed. I'll be right back. She hurried back to her bedroom. Keegan was talking to and tickling the babies, and he looked up. Lizzie, what's wrong? Lizzie shook her head. I want to take Iris's temp. She feels a little warm. I hope she's not relapsing. She grabbed the thermometer from the basket on top of the twins' changing table and went back to Iris. A minute later, Keegan stood in the doorway of Iris's bedroom. What's the verdict, Doc? Lizzie sighed. It's 101.4, and that's not terrible, but I'm going to keep a close eye on her today, and if she gets worse, I might take her into Dr. Reagan. Keegan nodded. Okay, well, I really have to go into the office today. We're having a big consult with the GBI to sew up some loose ends after the big bust. And once that's done, we might have new work from the whole state of Georgia to help them catch some bad guys who are working with the operation up in Rome. Lizzie sighed and nodded. I understand. I can handle taking Iris to the doctor all by myself. I'm a big girl. He frowned. Well, Violet and Lily are here if you need anything, and I'll go tell them to stick around in case you need them. Where's Heather? She and Nolan are working with a contractor on their house remodel. Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. When I met you, Keegan, I was handling 5 little ones all by myself. I can handle 3 of them today. He started to remind her that she was now much older, but thought better of it. He smiled. I know. It was such a turn-on. She offered a soft laugh. Still, he went on, as soon as my meeting's over, I'll come straight home. Call me if you need anything. I will, I promise. He bent down and kissed his wife and his daughter. Iris, baby girl, you get better, okay? She raised her head. Am I sick? He smiled. Well, if you have to ask, and I think maybe you're not. Iris laid her head back down. I'm not sick. I'm sleepy. Keegan placed his hands on both his daughter's head and his wife's head and began to pray over them, and when he finished, Lizzie smiled at him. Thank you, Keegan. Have a good day. I love you, he answered, and turned to go back to the bedroom. He'd placed the babies back in their cribs. Gentian was asleep, and Isaiah was looking up at him with his big bluish-brown eyes. A circle of light brown surrounded a circle of blue. He smiled at the baby. Well, Isaiah, Daddy has to go to work. You keep an eye on the ladies, okay? Isaiah answered with a soft coo, making Keegan chuckle. Turning, he donned his shoulder holster and firearm, slipped on his suit jacket, whispered a goodbye to the babies, and took his leave. Downstairs, he stopped in the kitchen to let Lily and Violet know that Iris wasn't feeling well and their mother might need help. He started out to the garage and stopped. Looking back at 2 of his daughters, he frowned. What's wrong, Daddy? Violet asked. He sighed. Nothing really. I just feel uneasy, I guess. You girls know I love you, right? Of course, Lily said. He looked at her. Her arm was in a cast. Her face seemed pale and slimmer, like she'd lost some weight. She still had a few scratches on her cheek and chin from where the glass hit her when the window exploded. She looked battle-weary. He frowned. Lily, don't go near that house today. I won't, though whatever bad things are in that house don't seem to need me to be nearby in order to hurt me. He nodded. You're right. Well, Grandmaster Keno and all his reinforcements are coming this weekend to help us take care of that problem. He said God is directing their coming here, and that means that God is aware of what's happening and is taking care of it. So hold on, baby girl. God's got this. She nodded. He sighed. And I'm sorry that I wasn't strong enough to vanquish the evil. Lily frowned. We all went over there, so apparently all of us together are not strong enough. Apparently this is a special kind of evil, and apparently it requires some special forces different than the Marine kind. Keegan smiled. Apparently. Daddy, don't be down on yourself. He nodded. I'll try. I got to get to work. I love you girls. Watch out for your mom. We will. Love you too, Daddy, they said as they watched him go. New scene. It is January 29th, 9:20 a.m., Wednesday morning. We're going back across the country to the UCLA campus, Los Angeles, California. Agent Yu-Joon Kim watched as Jordan came out of Kaplan Hall after her English class. She did a good job of pretending to look around for her bodyguard. She was pretending because she knew he was over near the car, watching her from afar. Several times over the past few days, he'd spotted Mason Cole near Jordan. Agent Kim didn't let on that he'd seen him. He wanted Cole to think that he was successfully stalking her. He told Jordan about it this morning and told her that he was going to give the guy some space to see what he does. And he wanted Jordan to play along and act like he wasn't nearby, like Agent Yu-Joon Kim wasn't nearby. He gave her an earpiece so he could talk to her, and he'd handed her some pepper spray just in case Cole came on strong. The spray would cover and give Kim the few seconds that he'd need to get to her. If Cole approached her today, Agent Kim would swing into action in more ways than one, and pepper spray wasn't part of his plan. He had already investigated the guy. He seemed to be a model student, a model guy, but a loner. He'd been enrolled in the school for 4 years. He's a junior studying computer science. His buying habits, though, were suspicious to Kim. He purchased specialized wireless network analyzers and a Wi-Fi pineapple that is used for security testing and can intercept or manipulate Wi-Fi traffic. Those things might be things he's learning about in class, or they might lead to something much worse. In his investigation, Kim learned that Cole had hacked into the school mainframe more than once, and that meant he knew a whole lot about Jordan, where she lived, where her mother lived, who her siblings were, and where they went to school. So many places that she was vulnerable. Agent Kim had done all of his work on his own, but intended to share his findings with his cousin, Jason Lee, if today's experiment proved he was not just being overly cautious. He watched as Jordan looked around and appeared to be frustrated that she couldn't find him. She walked back and forth in front of the building, waiting for him, and finally wandered a little further around the walk that ran beside the building, between the building and the street where he was parked. He could see her perfectly, and so could the campus security cameras. Finally, Cole made his move. Agent Kim watched Mason Cole start up a hill and follow the walkway around to the side of the building. Agent Kim spoke into his mic. "He's coming up from your right rear. Don't be startled, but appear to be startled." He videoed from his car, and his earpiece picked up the conversation. Jordan, wait," Cole called. She stopped and looked back at him and shook her head. "I told you last time, Mason, that I don't want to talk to you anymore." "Aw, come on. You can't blame a guy for trying." "I can when I've told the guy no many times. Mason, I'm engaged to be married. I am not available." Okay, you're not available. I get it. But don't be mad, Jordan. At least let me make it up to you. Kim's eyes narrowed. Mason reached out and touched her hand. "Why don't you come with me and I'll buy you a coffee?" She pulled her hand away. "No, thank you. I have to go." Her voice shook, and Kim knew that was all she could take. He got out of the car and started toward them, using cars and trees and shrubbery to stay hidden from Cole's view as long as possible. "So, where's your little Kung Fu Panda bodyguard?" Mason asked. I don't know, but I'm sure he'll be here any second." Mason looked around. "I guess he's like your fiancé." "What is that supposed to mean?" "Well, he claims ownership over you and then doesn't take the job seriously." Jordan's face turned red with anger. "You see, Mason, that's why I don't like you. Your thinking is all twisted. First, no one has ownership over me. Now, please stop this nonsense and go away. I don't want to talk to you anymore." "You'll regret this," Mason said. Her face paled. "That sounds like a threat." He smiled. "Oh, no, you misunderstand. I just mean that you'll regret giving me up for the spoiled little rich boy you think you're going to marry." "You're kidding yourself," Jordan stated flatly. Mason frowned. "You think you're better than me?" Jordan slipped her hand into her purse to grasp the pepper spray. "Miss Brooks," Agent Kim said as he walked up from behind Mason, and Jordan's eyes teared in relief. Agent Kim looked at Mason. "I thought I told you to never come near her again. If needs be, I'll get restraining order." Mason smiled. "Cute accent, little man, but no need to do all that. I really don't want anything to do with her anyway. She's a waste of time." And you are a waste of my time. Well, maybe you should take your job a little more seriously. Agent Kim nodded. You are absolutely right. He took Jordan by the arm. Come on, Miss Brooks. He escorted her to the car and opened the door for her and put her in, then went around and got in. He looked over at her. Are you all right? She drew a deep breath. Yes, I think so. But I'm really glad you came up when you did. Her voice broke as she got out the last word. He patted her hand. I know. But Miss Brooks, you did great. It's okay. Really, you're okay. He's a pretty creepy guy, and we know what I wanted to know. Take a deep breath. She did as ordered and watched as he pulled out his phone. He smiled. I want to call Jason, but I just realized I need to go through the proper channels so no one thinks I'm getting special treatment. I need to call Chief Davis real quick. Is that okay with you? Of course. Hand me your phone. Her brow furrowed. He smiled. Trust me. She handed him the phone. He turned it off and removed the battery. Why'd you do that? You'll see. She nodded, and he hit a button on the dashboard. Yes, sir, Agent Kim, a woman said. Is Chief Davis available? Yes, sir. Hold one moment. Davis, Jeff said quickly. Sir, I think we have a situation. Agent Kim went on to explain the investigatory work he'd done on Mason Cole and that the guy was actually stalking Jordan. So, sir, he took off, but I'm sure he's gone to watch Jordan's apartment building. I've seen him there the last few times I've dropped her off. Sir, I'd like to follow him. I think this guy is not just some harmless guy who can't get a date. He's got issues. I think I agree with you, Agent Kim. Nice work. Take her home, as you always do. I'll have an agent watch the apartment. You follow Cole and be careful. Don't want to be surprised by a bad guy with a plan. Yes, sir. Is Jordan in the car? Yes, sir. Jordan? Yes, Mr. Davis. How you doing, sweetie? I'm okay, maybe a little bit shaken up. I understand. Listen, I'm going to have an agent head over there. Don't know who yet. Stay inside and keep the door locked until I call you and let you know when he's there. Okay, but I was supposed to go to practice at 3. Oh, he'll be there in about 30 minutes. Oh, okay. And Jordan, don't talk about what's happening to your roommates or to young Eric on the phone. If this Mason Cole is into computer hacking and such, he could be monitoring your phone or computer, and we don't want him to know that you're onto him. But can he hear this conversation? I disabled her phone before I called you, sir, Agent Kim interjected. Good job, Agent Kim. So, no, Jordan, Jeff said. He can't hear this conversation. We're talking on a secure, encrypted Ameritech line. Oh, yeah, I should have known that, Jordan said softly. Okay, Agent Kim, keep me informed personally. Yes, sir, and Chief Davis. If my tale today doesn't give us anything, I'd like permission to keep it up for a week or so, and also bug his apartment. Permission granted. Take care of it. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for a job well done. New scene. It is January 29th, 12:30 p.m., Wednesday afternoon, Ameritech offices, Calvary, Georgia. Keegan pulled his phone from his inside breast pocket as he walked out of the building. He glanced at the readout as he answered. Hey, sweetheart. I was just on my way out to head home. How's Iris? Lizzie sighed. Well, that's what I'm calling about. She's not doing too good. She's very lethargic and sleepy. She says her head hurts and her temp is rising. Well, what is it? Well, it's only gone up a little since this morning. It's now 101.7. But the point is, I gave her some of Jeffy's fever reducer, and it's still going up. I called the doctor, and he wants to see her right away. Okay, babe, then I'll meet you there. Thank you. I'm leaving the babies with Violet and Lily. There's plenty of milk in the fridge for at least 3 feedings, and Daisy said she'd be home soon, and Heather and Nolan just came in the door, so they'll all be able to handle things here for a while. It sounds like you got it covered. I hope I do, but Keegan, Iris is so pitiful. It worries me. Okay, take a deep breath and think positive thoughts and pray with the kids before you leave the house. I will. See you soon. Drive safely, Lizzie. You too. It is January 29th, 1:30 p.m., so a few hours later, Wednesday afternoon, Tanner home, Pine Forest, Georgia. Lily, Justice, Violet, Heather, and Nolan sat around the kitchen talking as Violet and Heather fed their infant siblings with bottles. Nolan looked on with pleasure. Just think, Heather, one day soon you might be feeding our own little guy. Well, if so, I wouldn't be feeding him a bottle. So is there something you two want to tell us? Violet asked. Heather's eyes opened wide. Oh, oh, no, absolutely not. We're just dreaming of the future, that's all. I mean, he did say someday soon, Justice said. Yeah, and you did call it a guy, Lily added. Nolan laughed. I called it a guy because right now Heather happens to be feeding a guy. Heather nodded. And I don't know why he said soon, because we won't even be married for 6 more months, and even if we got pregnant right away, that's still 15 months away. Nolan shrugged. Perspective. Lily raised her eyebrows. So, are you guys thinking that you'll try for a baby right away? Heather and Nolan both smiled. Well, Heather began, we're not exactly going to try to get pregnant. We might try to time things so that I don't get pregnant right away so that we'll have time to finish the house and get the ranch started. But, well, we'll pretty much let the Lord bless us when he wants to bless us. Violet smiled. Oh, just think, Lily, of us being aunts. Auntie Vi. I think I'd like the sound of that. Lily nodded. And we'll fight over who gets to hold her, she sighed. So last night, Dad said we should build a bunch of cabins out behind the house in the pasture and have them all open up onto the same big yard, and we'll have ball games and barbecues all together for holidays. Oh, that sounds like so much fun, Violet said. It does sound like fun, Justice said softly, glancing at Lily, who blushed under his gaze. Violet smiled. Heather smiled. Nolan smiled. The moment ended when Heather's phone buzzed and she nodded at Nolan. Babe, will you answer that for me? I kind of got my hands full of sweetness right now. Nolan picked up the phone and answered. Hey, Mrs. Tanner, this is Nolan. Heather's feeding Isaiah. Okay, Nolan, can you put me on speaker? You're on speaker, ma'am. Heather? Yes, Mom, what's wrong? Your father and I and Iris are on the way to the hospital. Why? What happened? Well, the doctor believes Iris might have acute meningitis. Oh, Mom, that's bad, right? Yeah, it's very bad. He wants her in the hospital to get antibiotics through an IV. You said he thinks she has it. When will he know? Well, they won't know exactly for a while, but at the hospital they want to do a lumbar puncture, and we'll also know more when the culture results come back. But acting fast is key right now, so they'll put her on a broad-spectrum antibiotic at first until they know for sure what we're dealing with. Mom, this sounds serious, Lily said. Lizzie sniffed as her emotions got the best of her for a few seconds. It's very serious, Lily, so I would like you guys to contact Jody and Lisa and get them to start a prayer chain. Okay, we will, Heather said. What about Gabe's prayer warriors? Well, I don't want to worry Gabe while he's out there if I don't have to. Let's wait until we get some preliminary results back, and then we'll call him. Okay, Violet said. Are the babies doing okay? Lizzie asked, her voice again emotional. Mom, don't worry about the babies, Heather said. They're taking their bottles like champs. We'll take good care of them. Oh, thank you, girls. I'm going to need one of you to get my pump and supplies and bring it up to the hospital for me, please. Got it. I'll be there soon, Heather said. Is Dad still with you? Yes, he's driving behind me. He has Iris with him. We'll be pulling into the hospital in about 5 minutes. Okay, Mom. Don't worry, Heather said. It's all going to be okay. And tell Dad that Nolan and Justice are here and we're all okay. I will. Thank you, sweetie. Talk to you when I know more. Okay. Bye, Mom. We love you, Lily called out. I love you too, baby girl. Nolan ended the call and they sat there for a few moments stunned. Violet broke the silence. Well, I'm going to call Rose and Daisy. She stood and handed Gentian off to Justice. Will you hold her for a minute and let her finish her bottle? Heather nodded. Yes, we all need to be together. Pray together. She stood. Nolan, hold Isaiah, please. He needs burping. I'm going to go find the breast pump for Mom. My sweet Iris, Lily murmured. Oh, my goodness. I want to go see her and hug her and pray over her. I didn't even ask if they'll let us in to see her, Heather said. When Mom calls back with more information, let's remember to ask. And that is the end of chapter 25. And I have not put a scripture there, apparently. Apparently I missed it or skipped it. So I will read you the scripture that the Lord gives me for chapter 25 at the beginning of chapter 26. Until then, you guys be blessed.